falling, ain't no one in life holding me back no more.
What is up? What is up, YouTube? How's everybody doing today? Whoop whoop. Oh yeah. It's definitely a Friday. Thank God it's Friday. I haven't had enough coffee as of yet, so I'm a little dragging. Just a little. I just said I was a dragon, y'all. I'm dragging ass. That's what I am. What's everybody up to today? As you guys see, my topic today is uh just a little chit chat. I kind of want to have a chit chat with you guys. I know most of you guys are probably following the exact same stories that I'm following. And it's a little crazy out there right now, you guys. What in the hell? What is happening out there on this freaking YouTube true crime stream slash streets, whatever you want to call it? Fire breathing dragon for sure. So those of you guys, as you may have seen, I posted a poll, and I don't really even think that I'm going to be able to see my poll over here in StreamYard. Lord, I'm just so messed up. I was late, you guys. Just now I was late, okay? I was late because I got really sucked into listening to Brian Higgins read off his text messages that he had between him and Karen Reed, and Lord, am I glad that is not me. Oh dear. This man is reading text messages to a jury in a courtroom of 50-ish or so. And it's like, I really think you're hot. And I'm just sitting there like, Lord, that's just, I don't know. It's definitely something more lighthearted to listen to, even though the situation is crazy. The situation sounds like just the utmost shit show. It's nothing to laugh about. It's not really a lighthearted type event that occurred or situation. Like, I'm not trying to make light of it. But sitting there listening to a grown-ass man read off text messages between him and Karen Reed, where they're clearly telling each other they've had a crush on each other, it's weird AF. I guess I'm gonna shove the elephant out into the floor, because there's a giant elephant occurring right now. And for those of you guys that have been following, it is widely known that Katie Proudfoot made her appearance last night in the middle of the night. Whoop whoop. Who's surprised? Raise your hand. Type 1. I don't know. Do something. Get up. Shake your buddy. I was going to say shake your butt, and then I was going to say booty, so I said buddy. So basically I just have an opinion on that, I guess. And opinions are just like everybody else's assholes, and everybody has one, and right now it's almost as if you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't with this lady. Because for me it's like too little too late. I see a lot of people stating, they're going to give her grace, and that's fine. But for me, at what point do you need to utilize social media, and at what point does social media become non-productive? And as a person missing your kid, you should probably most likely be doing other things currently. Again, that's my opinion. And so it's almost like, now what? We as outsiders listening to this case and listening to these stories and these people and following them along, we've become invested, because when you invest your time, it's basically like you're giving away currency. And so we're all left here thinking, what the heck? What do we do now? Yep, that's what I'm saying, Claire. It's too little too late. I agree, she needs major therapy. I actually I slept last night, I was probably the only one of you guys that actually was in my bed, tucked in, dead asleep, snoring, probably, having the sleep of my life. It wasn't very long, hence why I need coffee. But basically, we got to know a little bit about Sebastian Rogers. He's still missing. It's 3 months. There's no leads. There's no clues. It's almost as if the poor boy vanished. And we've all been listening to the story as outsiders, trying to put our input in and help how we can, or share the story like I'm doing now by mentioning his name. And it just feels like the parents, and I say parents meaning all of them, um, don't seem to want our help, or they don't seem to appreciate our help. They don't seem to want to participate in the it's like they don't want to participate in the active search or come to a resolution as to where he's at. I would have loved to have heard, hey, this is where we're at with my child being missing. So far we have this possibly coming up, or we have this search coming up, or hey, we're going to be at this vigil. Which I get, Katie Proudfoot clearly feels like she's being bullied, and therefore she's got that as an excuse to use to why she's probably not going out to search. Which, fine, whatever. Just why are you on the internet at all then? Like, why? It just doesn't make sense. Hey, Devil Doll, I don't really understand it, because it's like you specifically chose to go on certain platforms, go on certain panels, and it's almost like a tit for tat thing. These true crime stories become shit shows, and the more time that goes on, the more it's like, dude, where are we going with this? I do really truly feel like it feels like we're on a crazy train, and it's like literally going to derail no matter what we do or how we do it, but yet we're all actively sitting here participating. This is going to be a straight up rant. I'm not really even going to stay on very long, because I don't want you guys just sitting here having to listen to me blah blah blah. And I like to get input. Like, this is why I truly start to pull away. Like, as you see here now, I'm here, but I don't like this. I don't enjoy this. So it's like I'm sitting here trying to follow along a story, because I can't read a chapter book without, completing chapter 12 or getting to chapter 55, which is the end chapter. So I'm sitting here like patiently waiting for some kind of outcome, conclusion, reasonable explanation as to why it seems that this 15-year-old boy vanished from his home. And sadly, it's almost as if the more this occurs, the more different stories that come out and events that occur, the more it's like we have to recognize that there is no conclusion sometimes. Like with Summer Wells. Summer Wells has stolen everybody's hearts, and it's almost as if here we are almost 3 years later, and we're just not even anywhere remotely to where we need to be. And that, again, brings me back to my whole topic of my conversation, the social media aspect of having events occur to you in life that are traumatic, and then you coming to social media. When is it a positive thing, and when does it become an extremely negative thing? And I like to have a back and forth with people that disagree with me. I like to have discussion. I feel like that's when I can learn things from other people. But basically, it's really hard in this realm we're in, is because once you disagree, or if you're associated with one person or another, it's like we naturally take sides. Does that make sense? And so now we've separated into side A and side B. Thank you, Devil Doll. Welcome. And it's never been about sides. It's never been about hate bonding and who you want to show with. Like, these aren't your real life friends. Just like me, Dolly. Like, yes, you get to know us as characters, or I don't necessarily mean characters, because a character is pretty much usually a fictional person. But I mean, you get to know us a little bit more than you would like a movie actor or actress, but it's still not. Basically, we're just becoming like our alternate reality selves on the internet almost. It's just so frustrating to me, because I'm like, I can't participate for me when it's something that I don't agree with, or I don't see a resolution for, or I don't see any helpful um input from participating in. Does that make sense? I sometimes really go off all over the place, which is why I usually go and have notes. I was so infatuated with this Karen Reed back and forth of just text messages between, again, I'm going to tell you guys, Brian Higgins and Karen Reed, they had text messages. Karen found his phone number through a mutual friend, I believe. And so she hunted him down and got his phone number and then started texting him like flirtatiously. And he's in court reading them all out loud. Like we're back in middle school. I love that for them. But, thank you, Michelle Sullivan, for becoming a member. Thank you. And so it's basically like, okay. And then we have these people that just love to hate people. So within this whole sector of YouTube where we're all gathered to share stories around with each other, just so for me, the reason for it is because I believe that if you continuously discuss somebody being missing, that story and that person is not going to be forgotten. And so therefore I believe in it. A lot of people don't. And so the people that don't believe in it are actively participating in putting down the people that do believe in it while they're doing the same thing somewhat, because one of these people I say is the person that had these interviews conducted on their channel last night, and that's the same person that literally has been dragging my boyfriend for getting interviews and doing live streams about these cases. So it's like, on what planet? And see, y'all, I'm about to just rage because I didn't really want to harp on the haters aspect of all of this. But yet here we are, and I just got to it, and therefore I can't really put it back in, like once shit comes out, you can't. But it's just like, do people really not have any sense of self-awareness? Like, do you not look into a fucking mirror every day and say, like, hey, I'm human. This person's human. We all do human type stuff. Therefore, you are going to do this, and I'm not going to agree with it, but I'm not going to harp on it. And so, therefore, I'm going to just do this, and we may do things oppositely. We may not agree. Everything is gravy. The end. No, these people... And I say these people, and I'm referring to a set of people, not nobody in particular, not nobody that's, better or worse than the other. I'm saying everybody that spends their time daily hosting or participating in a YouTube channel that typically showcases other channels that they disagree with while they're hosting and showcasing said channel that they actively dislike and disagree with. Am I crazy? Because I'm starting to sound and feel like I'm crazy. Does that make sense? Anybody? Maybe I should have somebody come up. Does anybody want to come up? Because, I will literally, you know what? I don't have time. I would literally sit here and rant and rave, and I could all day long, because it's like, okay. So then I sit back and think, okay, so let's see. Some of these people that are just stalking. I was going to say stalking, and I was going to take it back and not say it, but it came out again. Stalking. Some of these people that are stalking set channels, aka my boyfriends, literally have been in the mix of a story, and it's a story that somebody unalived themselves, angry grandpa, due to online harassment. And they're sitting there talking about my boyfriend's past relationship and something to do with, a relative that does not live in the home. Like, I would swear on my entire fucking family, these people they're saying that live in the home, they do not. And I'm like, but yet, your skeletons in your closet literally are popping out. So basically, that... You know what? And that was one of the channels, that's actually one of the channels that I stood up against, because I actually know a lot about that channel. Now that you say that, you literally, yeah, you just gave me like a serious deja vu moment right there. But, it's just insane to me. And so then at what point do you stop and think to yourself, like, okay, I'm hating on this one channel. They're still, going to do what they're going to do no matter what I do. So then you do something more extreme to get their attention. Like, oh, I'm going to show up to their work What? Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. I'm new to the crime life. I'm usually a silent watcher, but I'm sure it will change. Lost both parents in the last year. So, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. That is terrible. I'm sorry. Hon, I absolutely, for the most part, do not feed into it. Like, I actually didn't watch these videos from last night. I didn't really watch Dolly's. I had it on in the background as I slept because I always do, and then I kind of participated and listened a little bit this morning. But for me, it is not beneficial to me because I don't really care. I don't care what happens on those channels, what they have to say, what they do. If I don't listen to it or I don't see it, did it happen? No. To me, in my mind, it didn't. So perception is key for me, and that rhymed. Man, I'm a poet today, you guys. Woo woo. Basically, everybody, but that's another thing. Everybody has their right to their opinion. So it's like, okay, somebody doesn't like you, fine. Somebody doesn't agree with you, fine. Who the hell cares? But then it's like, suddenly you got people coming over to talk about what's happening on this channel to this channel, and it's just like, dude, nobody cares. Like, I had to tell somebody yesterday, like, yep, I know that's going on. No big deal. We don't really watch that. No big deal. The more that you open these channels and open their live stream, the more they're being pushed out to the rest of the population. Like, dude, erase that channel from your search history. Hey, Miss PJ, it's just not productive. And that's where I'm going back to spin around to where I started and what this topic is. Like, at what point is social media not productive to somebody that's actively involved in some type of case, or has a family or friend member that's involved in some type of case, or, even us as witnesses that are trying to help out in some sort of way? At what point is enough enough? I know there's a lot of critique videos that are beneficial, but then there's a lot of hate videos. But both of those two, I've never seen a video that actually comes with an issue, and then like, I always say this to my mom. My mom's still, I'm 41 years old. My mom will still be sitting here telling me how I'm fat and I need to walk like I used to. She means well. It's like a European thing. She doesn't forget. She's like, you fat now. You need to go walk. I don't think you are eating properly. She means well, but it's like, holy moly. All right. But at what point do you get like a constructive, like, I always stop and tell her when she does that to me, like, hey, do you mind maybe next time telling me, hey, maybe you should eat this instead of this? Or like, oh, hey, you haven't walked the dog today. It's probably time. Like, give me some kind of resolution or some type of like way to help what it is that you're saying I'm doing. Like, give me something, because if you sit here and tell me every single day that I'm fat, and I'm sitting here like, okay, and so, like, what do you expect to do on social media by being a channel or participating in a channel that's actively daily just dragging some other channel that you dislike because their behaviors and what they say is just so problematic to you, but yet you're discussing them and promoting them? It's like, hello, dude, I'm sorry, volume check. So, woo! I can really go off at times, and like I said, I didn't even watch any of these videos. I really didn't. It doesn't matter to me. At this point, what Chris Proudfoot or Katie Proudfoot have to say doesn't matter to me. It just, I mean, what are they going to tell me if they're not going to tell me, hey, what happened to your son? Where did he go? He didn't vanish into thin air. The end. That's it. That's literally it. And so for them to come onto social media now, particularly Katie, to have a chat, it's just weird to me, because, like, what are you trying to do now? Trying to butter us up for our approval of you? And I can't even, like, oh my God, the 2 minutes that I heard when I was getting ready from work this morning, like, oh, we appreciate you more than you know. What? Why? Do you know this lady? Like, what? And so it's like, as an adult, aka parent, um, that's got a missing child, you should have a very clear concept of reality and life and what the purpose of social media is, because once your kid went missing, you should have been on top of your house. Girl, I'm going to talk to Katie Proudfoot just for a second, because this is what I feel is a positive pro of having social media. Okay? Because we're going to end kind of with me saying what I feel is the positive or the pro of social media, and then I'll just kind of discuss what the negative is. Because I mean, I kind of harped on most of what the negative is, but there's some pros. Let's say, like I said, for an example, if you were Katie Proudfoot and you had the ability to utilize social media and your son's missing, you could literally stand on your house with a bullhorn and scream at the top of your lungs, telling everybody your kid is missing. The last time he left, he was doing this, he was doing that. He might have been here. He might have done this. He might be with this person. It, you know, any of those things. Or you can go onto Facebook every day and post your kid's missing flyer and post it to different groups and share it with other groups who can share it to other groups. Or you can go onto YouTube channels and tell them every day, like Brandy still goes onto YouTube channels to give, answers to some people here recently with the Michael Vaughn case, which somebody pointed out I didn't put Michael Vaughn in the picture on my profile. I did that on purpose. For some reason, I feel like that case is a lot closer to my heart than, not necessarily than the others. It's hard to explain. I just feel more protective over Michael Vaughn because that little baby, I can't even go there. But basically, Brandy Vaughn, if you follow her at all, she's been on chats in the chat. She's been up and talking on a panel to explain, hey, this is Monkey. This is where he was. This is what happened. And she's not happily chatting with people. She's not telling you, what she had to eat and the reason why I wanted to discuss this, because when I woke up and saw what was being discussed, I knew it was going to be, oh, you guys are just being mean to this mom because, she wasn't talking. So you were giving her a hard time. And now that she's talking, you're giving her a hard time. So you can't, and you won't ever give the mom a chance because she's just, and I'm like, thinking that to myself, like, here we go. This is what makes the story now. And that's where I start to really think, like, what the fuck am I doing? Because, like, I can predict what's coming next. Like, I could have basically told you, like, we need to have bingo cards. And that's why all of this becomes entertaining. But yeah, at the same time, it's like, Jesus Christ, is this entertainment? Is this what we consider entertainment? Me, I was an EMT. And I had some horrific cases before, and so I've seen some horrific things. And so in order to get past the horrificness of it, we would make jokes out of things that are probably not jokes. So this may be my comedy or my relief, but at the same time, I don't want to continuously do the same shit and follow the same pattern and watch the same storyline occur over and over and over and over. It's just, what's the point? Hi, Willow. Can somebody give me some kind of update on like what they feel is right and wrong here? Because like I said, somebody has to have like a wake up moment to be like, aha, this is what we should all do. Like, let's all not engage this person, or let's all be positive towards this or that. Like, and it's just like, there is none, because you know why? You can't control other people. And I feel like I should really have wrote this down or had notes on this, because like, you can't control other people. So therefore, if you have a channel that's literally promoting hatred towards another person, I'm going to use Bullhorn Betty as an example. How many people are out there that have channels that are specifically aimed at dragging Bullhorn Betty? Probably millions. I feel like there's millions. I think I just missed a super chat. I'm sorry. Navara, thank you so much. Whew, take a breath. What's up, Willow? Um, I do believe social media is a great thing for true, but only when it's used appropriately, just for yeah. And what I was just getting at is that you can't control people. So no matter how many times, exactly, and we've literally gotten here where people feel sorry for Bullhorn Betty because there's a billion channels out here dragging her. And here we are. She's doing the same thing she does every day. She wakes up and puts her pants on one at a time. She freaking shits like all of us. It's like, dude, yes, exactly. And I wanted to kind of draw out, but I'm at my lunch break. This is usually when I have a little bit of time, and I just didn't feel like eating today. But I probably do need to get more coffee. And so I just thought this was a really good, because like I was saying, the thing that made me think of that is because now that Katie Proudfoot has actually spoken, and people didn't accept her and welcome her and tell her how much they love her, like some other people, it's going to be frowned upon by those other people because, God knows the lady's just so poor. Katie, she's just been bullied. I'm sorry. I've just never been one of those people. I will not pacify your hurt fifis over what? Like, I don't need to make friends with you. I don't need to make you like me or, be anywhere near you. And so for me, it is what it is. Your kid is missing. You were the one at home with your kid when your kid went missing. Either you were incapacitated / drunk / dead asleep and the kid hopped out the window, or got stolen somehow, or it just, none of it lines up. So therefore, you're the person responsible because you're the adult. And therefore, I'm not like, yeah, it's good to hear all of the things he liked to eat or whatever. I didn't listen to the interview, so I'm not even really sure. I just kind of got a rundown, and it was like, she told everybody about his favorite color and stuff like they used to do and stuff. Cool. But did you give any context to that? Like, did she tell us where to go look so that we could utilize the information she was giving us? Like, did she tell us, hey, he loves to go to the library and, his favorite book is this and this. Like, so therefore we could go to the library and maybe look for him there. Or, it's like, there's a time and a place for everything. Thank you, Shirley. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let me read what you said. If everyone on YouTube would work together instead of bashing each other, we might be able to find these babies. Yes. Unfortunately, in life, there's just people that disagree. Often they're either too much alike and they don't see eye to eye, but yes, they're doing the exact same thing. I've seen that lately a lot. Or there's just people that don't agree. Like I said, I personally would not suck up to anybody if it's hard to explain. It's hard to put things into words sometimes, especially when it becomes like this. It becomes a full-blown shit show. Like, I don't feel bad for Katie. She's not even asking for her son's safe return. Right. It's almost like she's talking about him as if he is off in the other room playing a video game. Like, and again, I didn't really hear but 2, 3, maybe 5 minutes max this morning when I woke up, get ready for work. But ultimately, it's like, now what, Katie? Like, are you just gonna live life now as if you're just free to be? And like, so the positives or the pros that I was trying to describe earlier, you have the ability to get onto platforms and tell people that your son is missing, where he last was, what he was wearing, what he likes to do, where you possibly believe he may have been, why you think he might have possibly left, who you think he might have left with. Ultimately, you're going to have, not everybody's going to always agree with you. So even if you come up, like, again, I'm going to use Brandy Neal. If you come up and you tell your story, some people may decide that you're lying. And so with Brandy Neal, she came up telling everybody, hey, my son's missing. My husband went to smoke a cigarette and then changed the baby's diaper. And then all of a sudden the baby's gone. And the internet basically, not everybody took her as this poor mom that just lost her baby boy. So it's like there's a lot of cons or negative things associated with the social media. But yet at the same time, for me, I've never experienced it, so I can't say what I would do or how I would do it or what I would feel or how I would feel about it. But at the same time, it's like, I just can't imagine missing my child and having just this casual conversation and not like, what time was it? I feel like it had to have been late because after Turtle Island, I was still awake a little bit later after that. And then I went to sleep. Was it like 3 o'clock in the morning? I mean, what are these people even doing at 3 o'clock in the morning? Like, what are you doing? I just can't. I don't know. So basically, social media, because, there's a lot of people that want to outlaw certain things as for social media and true crime cases. And I see why, because there's stuff that is just outrageous. And with the Karen Reed case right now, there's witnesses up on stand that can barely be asked certain questions by defense because they're so angry at what has been going on with them, like the alleged witness intimidation and whatnot, that they're having a hard time responding. Like they just sound really defensive. And so that's all social media. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know where we're going to go from here, but ultimately, I just encourage people to definitely put yourself in somebody else's shoes. And so for me, that's easy because, let's say I'm Katie and I listen to Katie's interview later and I'm thinking to myself, okay, if this was me, I may just want to talk to somebody that may understand me and get my story out there. But then I can see why some people would have, negative response to it because I hadn't spoken for 3 months really, and I haven't really given anybody, like, I have very insightful thoughts on myself and how I perceive myself. And that's usually how I gauge situations and people, is to think, what would I do if I were them, or why do I feel they're doing what they're doing? And there's not really much explanation for me as to her behavior. There just isn't. And now that I think about it, I need to go back and I may be doing that at some point. I just don't have much time. But all of the original interviews where Katie spoke and Chris spoke, I believe there's a lot there. And I think that we could actually get, I think I actually even saw somebody in this chat say that earlier, that there's bits and pieces of the story being told as to what actually happened. And it's like subconsciously being told. So I think that it's really good to have social media, but at the same time, I do think that some people truly need boundaries with social media. But yet, if you impose those, then the people that don't act crazy will have those boundaries as well. And then I'm like, that's not really fair either. So again, it feels like I'm circling my tail, chasing my tail, like I'm the dog. Does that make sense? Correct. She puzzles me. Let's see what Sally said. Everybody's saying something back to Sally, and I don't see what Sally said. Sounds to me that PJ is much more emotional about this child than his own mother. She wanted everyone to know about the. Yeah, see, and that's the thing with perception. Different people have different personalities. So whereas I may be loud and eccentric about some things I am passionate about, she may just speak monotone and just kind of just be like this about everything that she talks about. And, I wouldn't necessarily say that would mean that, hey, she's wrong in what she's saying or doing, but her actions, 99% of the time you will be able to gauge somebody and their behavior or their thoughts or patterns of behavior based on their actions. Because for me, I've not seen Katie do much of an appearance or a beg for her child on any public anything. Like, I've not seen it. And therefore, to me, her actions do not relay that of somebody that's got a missing child. And now, her action is to get on to this YouTube channel and have a chat like they're just old buddies from the past. And it's just weird to me that, you still got a missing child and you didn't really give anybody anything other than, his favorites, which, okay, that's fine and all, but where do we go from here? A mother who is not out there looking for their missing child speak about exactly what I just said. It's like, dude, we all see it, but I don't know. The Katie creepy has exposed. Yeah, some people giggle when they're nervous or uncomfortable. So again, I wouldn't put that much emphasis on that. But basically, we're just trying to grasp at straws to get something. Because to me, it's like we're all sitting here participating in this chapter book or soap opera or whatever else it is that we're watching. It's not ending and it's not concluded and it's not. I don't know. Thank you, Sylvie. Thank you. I wouldn't say perfect. I know I try to be perfect, which is not reasonable, but thank you. Yep, I'm getting more coffee. I'm about to be on E here soon. I didn't really sleep that well. And I despise censorship of almost any kind. I have, however, said time and time, if YouTube decides to demonetize the true crime community, would it clean up the scene? No money would half of these. No, I don't necessarily even agree with that, because just like with all of our other problems in life, whether it be weapons, I'm not going to name them, or mainly our issues mental health related. And I'm really starting to see why that is an issue. There's, a shortage of having doctors. There's a shortage of facilities. I've recently had a practitioner leave, and then, the practice is saying, oh, well, the other practitioner isn't taking new patients, so good luck, bye. And I'm like, okay, where do I go? What do I do? And it's like, have fun with that. I don't know. Bye. So, I can see what the problem is. Clearly, we as a society, as a whole, as a human race, I don't even know what to call it, but we clearly have a mental health problem. But I don't necessarily even really think to take away all of this that it would be helpful, because, we still have channels that are really like newsworthy, and like, Vinny and Nancy Grace and Court TV, and like, if you claim the true crime community needs to go, then they would also need to go. And I think that would be unfair, because they're not as emotionally, personally invested into any of it, which I think is the problem. But again, you can't control people. And again, I just remembered I was going on that big long tangent about Bullhorn Betty, because these people that have the channels against her, I gotta finish that. I can't believe I went past that. But basically, these people that have channels that are against her, they never really give her any advice or any input as to what to do to be better and according to their standards. But then even that, they don't ever start realizing, like, hey, this lady's not going to change no matter how many videos you make about her. She's still going to be the same lady. She's still going to be she still does the same things. She's still going to piss you off. So why watch her if you don't like her? And that's that. How long do you need to continuously showcase somebody else's channel until you stop and think to yourself, like, okay, well, maybe there's nothing that I can do here because this person is a different person or an individual that can't see what I see, and therefore that's that. Like, enough is enough. But nobody seems to grasp that. Nobody seems to get that. Well, not nobody, just the people that participate in that kind of thing. The one thing that stood out, and I mentioned it in Dolly's chat, was Chris said when he's home, the dogs are put in the pen. When he's gone, the dogs sleep with Katie. Why did he tell her to go put the dogs away then at night? And that's another thing I actually wanted to discuss yesterday when Dolly was live, when I got there after work. There's an interview on the Duchess channel. It was one of their very first interviews. And Duchess is going back and forth with Katie, asking her, oh, well, you just told me that, it was 9 o'clock. You had told him to go to bed. And then you went and you were laying on the couch. And it's almost as if Chris wanted to make it crystal clear, which those are the words, those are the words he uses, that they had a conversation at set times. And the way that he talks is fascinating to me because it tells a lot, in my opinion. And I'm no expert. And don't ever take anything that I say as fact because I'm no expert, but I have an opinion. The way that he tells the story, it's almost like Duchess is speaking with Katie, and then Katie's answering, and then Chris says, well, I just for the record, and so that we're transparent here, and I want to be crystal clear on something here. Me and Katie, well, and he didn't say Katie, he said. So the mother and I were on the phone at 9:36 or 9:38, one of the two, and law enforcement has that all, all the logs and stuff. They have that down. But so at exactly about 9:36 or 9:38, Katie and I were just, on the phone. And again, he didn't say Katie. See how unnatural that is not to say Katie? He said the mother and I. Okay. And then he continues his little tirade of exactly 3 hours, exactly what they did on the phone call. Again, he's like, the mother then proceeds to go put the dogs away because I had told her. And then the mother, and I'm like, are you reciting this story verbatim to somebody, or like, is this what you've come up with? And like, this is your magical fictional story tale time hour or what? But what stood out to me was that 3 hours and how he very much wanted to emphasize the 3 hours, which to me instantly just made me want to zone in on that 3 hours that he said. Because literally, why would you? It's not a natural way to speak. It's just not natural to, I don't know. And now I don't even know why I freaking was saying that part of that whole interview. But, here we are. I've got 4 minutes again to get to work. I could talk a lot if I wanted to, really. I really could. Social media is a great tool to get out true crime information, but it also skews information. Also, unnecessary drama online can hurt. But I'm so glad you said this because actually, and I just remembered I left work a little bit late. So I do have a little bit more than 3 minutes, thank God. So without giving too much information or any real detail, Dolly had been saying that he had an interview with Sarah Wonder, which it was me speaking to her, and I don't know if it's an interview. Basically, it was just me trying to talk to her a little bit, and I had full permission and full transparency with certain law people, if that makes sense. I'm not very good at being transparent or lying or saying things in that way. So I'm trying to be careful because a lot of times, it's important to kind of do things a set way. And that one was one of the times. And it's like, once that gets out, I guarantee you these hate channels are going to be like, oh my God, look at her. She's doing this and that and talking to these people and blah, blah, blah. But it's actually something that it wasn't requested, but it was agreed upon and kind of set up to be done based on what, I don't want to say it that way. I don't know. True crime community is definitely a quick way to grow an audience. Audience go hard and they believe it justifies no matter how grimy. Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of different other communities would be the same way too, though. Like, there's a lot of different people that are really passionate about religion or politics or makeup, like me. I'm passionate about makeup, just like this, you guys. A person has to be willing to change on your time it's been wasted trying. Exactly. And that's what I mean. It's like, for me, my time is my currency. Like, if you waste a moment of my time, it's like I gave you something that, I didn't have to give or I didn't want to give. I love that you and Dolly are doing Don't Let the, thank you. The interview with the Universal, yes, that gesture was almost like my arm hair standing up. My dogs are never in pens or cages. Yeah, I believe that Chris Proudfoot may have some type of allergy. I know he's allergic to cats, and he made that very apparent that he made Sebastian get rid of the cats when him and Mama got together. So, what the sense of having a pit bull at that point? Yeah, they have Yorkies, I think, the little tiny dogs. My guys, I've never seen a cage, nor has my pig. Do your dogs and your pigs just walk around the house freely? One of my friends had a pig, and he was always itchy. So he would always be up on the furniture scratching his ass, and it was just like, oh, this is what the pig does the whole time. And then when he wasn't doing that, he was sniffing the floor trying to find crumbs. So yeah, I always thought I wanted a pig, but that kind of made me like, I don't know if I want a pig anymore. I would definitely stand behind Dolly and PJ. I know me, I would have no patience for any of the haters. See, and that's the thing. It's like, who cares? There's so many different people on this planet. They're allowed to have their opinion and give their input, just like I'm giving my input right now. It's just, I don't know. At some point, it's like you become the one that's insane if you continue to do the same thing over and over and over and expect a different result. You can't, you know, continue making videos against set people repeating the same thing from 2-3 years ago when it hasn't fixed your issue. It hasn't done anything for you. It hasn't. I mean, what do you expect to gain from that other than just a collective hatred towards set people, you know? And that's another thing. When you're in a group filled of people that all hate one person, what do you think is going to happen when you do something these people don't like, and or you become the hated person? Do you really think they're not going to turn around and act like that towards you one day, possibly? I can't. I don't know. My thoughts. CPS suggested he leave during an investigation why he left early. I thought that too, but now there's all these rumors about Seth and him having the CPS case, and it's like we can't vet any of that. And so basically, like, what's the point in even discussing it? I understand people have their theories and they want to kind of banter and talk back and forth with each other, but it's a little bit different when we're on, like, I don't know how to compare it. Like, it's like we're on the radio and there's hundreds and thousands of people listening to us, and it's like you're coming up with some random, like when they were saying that one little girl was probably pregnant. That was so uncomfortable to me. I cannot even verbalize how uncomfortable. Like, I'm in this chat because this is my boyfriend's chat, and I'm here because I really enjoy helping and kind of moderating this situation in the chat. But I'm sitting here finding myself turning the volume down because, like, all of these people kept calling in, and I really think that she was pregnant. Huh? Well, what? I mean, okay. I guess that was their reasonable explanation as to why um, they unalived her, but does that really make that big of a difference? We're never going to be able to verify that or check that, or so it's like there's just I don't know. PJ and I could fill a panel for days. We both, yeah, I know. Me too. That's why I sit around and listen to your streams. You're usually on when I'm busy or at night later, and I'll always watch a replay because you have the same sense of style as for music as I do, and so I always love your intros. And I don't know what it is. You definitely have a soothing voice, and you have good points in what you say. Is she able to hold a reasonable combo? I can't wait to hear that. Oh, she's Sarah Wandra. She is one of the suspects in Michael Monkey Vaughn in his disappearance. Sadly, they believe he's not with us any longer, and she's currently in jail serving time for something unrelated. But I did have a conversation with her. She can go along with the conversation, but a lot of times in what I said, I believe she can conform to the conversation. Like, she can yeah, that's what happened, that kind of thing. So I'm not a professional interviewer. I'm not really an expert in that theory, so like that's why I kind of didn't really even want it to be out, because I'm a little bit embarrassed in what or how it got said, because like I said, I'm not an expert. I just wanted to see if I could do something to help. Please go over one of the interviews and use your deception. Yes, I really wanted to do this. I think I'm going to. I just need more time. There's just not enough time. And thank you for that, Jax. There's not enough time in the day. I just have so much to do. Hey, wait, you waste my time all the damn time. No, I know. I'm sorry. Don't get a pig, they're gross. Yeah, I have humans for that, right? Yes, ma'am, he's an ass scratcher, but we keep up pretty lubed. Coconut oil helps his dry skin. Hell yeah, I need to freaking coconut oil lately. I think it's the weather. I've been itchy lately. Not like that. I'm not gross. The true crime community sometimes do the work, the police don't, and have actually. Exactly. This is one of the main reasons why it's a pro. Having a true crime community um, platform, I couldn't think of what the word was, is sometimes really important because what was it, Gabby Petito, that one family that lived in their vehicle found something, and that's how she was found. So it's like, there's always a positive and a negative to everything, and I think that all right, Star, thanks for coming in. I'm gonna get off here soon because, like I said, I gotta go back into work. But yeah, there's always a pro and a con to everything. And what I've learned in life is the perfect way, or I guess kind of like the motivation to life for me, is to strive to be in the middle of the yin and the yang, or the good and the bad. There's a very, 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 very fine thin line flaw size in the middle of that good and bad. That is, what is that word? Zen? No, not Zen. I don't know. I'm done talking. I've done, yeah. I know it's time for work. I can kind of be a little late or early. I came in early and then I left. I can see when I started the live stream, I basically got in my car and started it. So I know what time I need to go back. But thank you, crazy nurse over here looking out for my time. Yes, a real true crime community does, but 90% of these communities are just, yeah. See, that's why I think it's really important to say that you are allegedly thinking this or that, or repeating something that's been stated as a rumor, or allegedly this is that, possibly, or like with Dolly Vision's channel, he's gonna have calls that come in and people want to discuss what they want to discuss, and they want to talk about what ifs or their theories, and I mean, that's natural human behavior in my opinion, and it's just how people socialize, and that's not, I don't know how to explain it, but everybody has a valid point, and so it's like there's a good and a bad, and it's up to each individual as an adult, I would think, to utilize the platform wisely. If it's not gonna do anything for you and to help you find your son, you probably shouldn't be up on a platform in the middle of the night talking on a panel. I mean, hello, that's it. It is what it is. You're right. Everybody can say what they need to. And, on that note, I'm probably going to get out of here so I can go back to hell. I mean, work.
And for the first time in a long time, I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago.
Bicycle.